I remember that day so well, like it was yesterday. A small Swiss cheese plant, also called Monstera adansoni, or usually we call Canda Bolong, came to my house. I didn't buy it, and it wasn't a rare plant I searched for online during the COVID-19 pandemic. My old friend, Tito, simply gave it to me. He smiled and said, "Just take one, I have plenty." I paused for a moment, not because I didn't want it, but because I knew how popular and valuable these plants were then. The Swiss cheese plant, with its special holly leaves, was very trendy. When many people started gardening at home during the pandemic, the price of these plants went way up. A small pot like the one Tito gave me so easily could cost as much as a week's food for a family, or even more. I knew many people would pay a lot of money for rare or full plants, but my friend gave it truly, not expecting anything back. I took it, feeling amazed by his kindness and a little worried about taking care of it. I was scared I might harm it or that it wouldn't grow well. I placed it in a corner that received morning sunlight, making sure it wasn't too much or too little. I read various articles, watched YouTube tutorials, and even joined online plant lover groups to understand the ins and outs of its care. Every new leaf that grew seemed to overhoop, a small, calming promise that amidst a chaotic world, amidst the uncertainty of the pandemic, amidst anxiety about the future, there were still small things that could make us happy, things that grew, developed, and gave life. The plant wasn't just a hobby, it became a form of therapy, a reminder of the continuous cycle of life, regardless of the chaos outside. Over time, my Swiss cheese plant grew larger. Its dark green leaves became wider, its characteristic holes more exotic, gracefully dangling from its pot. Its aerial roots began to creep in all directions, seeking support. There was a unique satisfaction in seeing it thrive under my care. When relatives or friends visited and praised its beauty, I just smiled proudly, enjoying the compliment as recognition of the efforts. However, deep down, I had already built a wall, an invisible fortress I constructed to protect my precious asset. One. Oh, not yet. It's expensive, and rare too. I mumbled to myself, though my lips only smiled. I knew this was selfish. I knew it wasn't right. But honestly, at that time, I was too fond of it to share. There was a deep fear of loss, a reluctance to let go of someone valuable, something I had cared for with all my heart, something that had given me peace during difficult times. I cherish my Swiss cheese plant like I cherish the only growing asset I had, an asset that grew more valuable by the day. I even named each new leaf that appeared with hopes or small prayers. That pot wasn't just a plant, it wasn't a symbol of success in nurturing life, in finding beauty amidst limitations. I started counting its leaves, comparing its growth week by week. I shifted its spot to get optimal light, protected it from strong winds, and made sure no pest dared to approach. This protective feeling grew stronger as the Swiss cheese plant became rare in the market. Many stories circulated about plant theft, about prices soaring to tens of millions of rupiah for unique variegated varieties. That fear further cultivated my stinginess. I was afraid that if I shared, my Swiss cheese plant would lose its vitality, or I would no longer be able to enjoy the beauty and tranquility it provided. However, the plant continued to thrive, seemingly oblivious to my fears. Its stem elongated, its leaves lush and dense, filling my small terrace space. The busier it got, the more I felt pressure. And finally, I realized I couldn't hold on to it forever. It had to be pruned, tidied, and adaptability share. The plant's natural cycle demands pruning to stay healthy and stimulate new growth. Initially, I only separated the overly long stems for replanting. This was the first step in propagating the Swiss cheese plant. I learned that for propagating Monstera adansonii or janda bolong, the most common and effective method is stem cuttings. I began cutting stems that had at least one node, or the point where a leaf or aerial roots emerges, and one leaf. Carefully, I cut below the node, ensuring each cutting had the potential to grow. The next step was water propagation. I prepared small glasses of clean water and submerged the cuttings. Every day I checked their progress. At first there was nothing, but after a few days, even a week, small white dots appeared, which then elongated into roots. Seeing loose roots grow was a unique sensation, a small miracle that strengthened my belief in life. Once the roots were long enough, about 3 until 5 centimeters, it was time to transfer them to potting mix. I prepared small pots, 10 until 15 centimeter in size, filling them with a porous and nutrition-rich potting mix, usually a blend of cocoa peat, rice husk ash, and a little compost. With trembling but enthusiastic hands, I planted the root cuttings into their new pots. I made sure they were upright and covered the roots with potting mix, then watered them slowly. This process wasn't just technical but also meditative. Every cut, every soak, every planting was an act of passion and hope. I realized that each small pot carried the same potential as my mother's Swiss cheese plant. From one pot, which was once just one stem, it became 2, then 5, then 10, and others. Many home terrace, which was originally only occupied by one Swiss cheese plant, was now filled with small pots containing new cuttings, each with promising leaf sprouts. I briefly thought about selling the cuttings, as their price was still relatively high. I even imagined the profits I could make, how much money I could save, or items I could buy, an enticing small business idea amidst an uncertain economic situation. But then I paused. Something was bothering me. Pausing amidst the rows of my Swiss cheese plants, which now numbered in the dozen, I pondered. My first Swiss cheese plant wasn't an impulse buy or the result of risk bargaining. It was a gift from a friend's hand, ditto, without any strings attached, without expectation of return. He didn't expect me to sell it or even return it. He just wanted to share. So why was I so stingy about sharing it back? Why was I so calculating with something I received for free? At the moment, I looked at the pots of Swiss cheese plants on my terrace. Green, thriving, calm, and each leaf had its own uniqueness. And suddenly, I felt foolish for having held on to them for so long. Felt foolish about all those unfounded fears and worries. After all, the plant grew precisely because it was given space, because it was given the opportunity to expand, to branch out, to produce new shoots. Holding it back, limiting its growth, would only make it stunted and unhealthy. A simple yet powerful thought struck me, that true beauty and abundance come when we share, not when we hold on tight. So I decided with a conviction that now flowed freely within me. From that day, I will share it, for free, to anyone who wants to care for it with love, not with prestige. The dedication felt liberating, as if a heavy burden that had been pressing on my shoulders was lifted. I began to announce my intention to friends and relatives. The response was incredible. Their eyes sparkled. Friends who used to only gaze at my Swiss cheese plant with hopeful eyes, with sighs of admiration mixed with desire, Now went home with wide smiles, carrying a small pot of Swiss cheese blend. Some hugged the pot tightly as if carrying treasure. Some immediately promised to care for it with all their heart. I even put a simple label on each pot: care with love, not with price tags. A reminder not just for them but for myself as well. I began distributing my Swiss cheese blend from close friends, neighbors to acquaintances who happened to drop by. I also uploaded it on social media, offering it to anyone interested in taking one. There was only one condition: the intention to care for it, not to sell it, not to jump on a trend, but to genuinely love it. I even gave basic care tips to everyone who took one, making sure they had the knowledge to care for my Swiss cheese plant. Children, I explained how to choose the right spot, when to water, and how to recognize signs of too little or too much water. I even created a special chat group for those who received Swiss cheese plants from me, so we could share tips and experiences. I didn't become rich in a financial sense because of the Swiss cheese plant. I didn't sell it. No money entered my pocket from those cuttings. However, I became rich because I could give. I became rich because I saw the plant I once guarded tightly now living in many homes, spreading beauty and tranquility to more people. I became rich because I could shed the fear of loss and replace it with sincerity, with the joy of seeing others happy. Now, my home terrace isn't just a space full of plants. It has become a small garden of memories and sincerity. From one gifted pot, dozens of shared pots have grown. Every time I see photos of my Swiss cheese plants thriving in my friends' homes, or hear their stories about how the plant brings happiness, my heart is filled with gratitude, a gratitude far more valuable than any material gain. This Swiss cheese plant story taught me many things. It taught me about true abundance, that wealth isn't just about what we possess, but about what we can give. True happiness isn't just about personal satisfaction, but about seeing others happy because of our action. I realized that we often live in fear of scarcity, fear of not having enough money, fear of not having enough time, fear of not having enough love. This fear makes us hold on tightly to what we have, reluctant to share, and ultimately feel empty. Yet, nature itself teaches us about the cycle of giving and receiving. Plants give oxygen, flowers give beauty, fruits give nutrition. The more it gives, the more fertile and productive it becomes. My Swiss cheese plant is the embodiment of the philosophy. The more I prune it, the more new shoots grew. The more I share it, the more happiness multiplied. This isn't just about a plant, but about a mindset of scarcity versus a mindset of abundance. When we live with a scarcity mindset, we tend to hoard and fear sharing. However, when we shift to an abundance mindset, we realize that giving will actually open doors for even more to come. This Swiss cheese plant story also changed my perspective on the new rich. True wealth is no longer measured by how many assets we possess, how large our bank accounts are, or how many luxury items we can flaunt. True wealth is wealth of the soul, wealth of a heart capable of giving without expecting anything in return, wealth of experiences that enrich the lives of others, and wealth of relationship built on kindness and sincerity. I remember an old proverb: the hand that gives is better than the hand that receives. Previously, I might have understood that only in the context of material charity. However, the Swiss cheese plant taught me that giving goes far beyond that. Giving can be knowledge, time, attention, a smile, or even just sharing the beauty of something we possess. Every morning when I water the Swiss cheese plant on my terrace, now more than 10 pots, most of which are cutting and ready to be shared again, I feel a different kind of peace, no longer the peace of possession, but the peace of giving. This is a deeper, more lasting peace because it comes from contribution and connection with others. And the most surprising thing is the effect of sharing didn't stop with just my close friends. Some friends of my friends started asking about the plant too. They wanted to have fun, to take care of it. A few even came just to sit on the terrace, enjoy the green leaves with their funny holes, and have a chat while drinking tea. Without planning it, the plant became a way to connect people. It started conversation, brought people closer, and made friendships stronger. From one small plant, a warm network of people grew. That is true wealth, when something simple brings more kindness into the world. Tito, the friend who gave me this first Swiss cheese plant, was a pioneer in teaching me this. Without him realizing it, he planted the seeds of kindness and generosity within me. Now it's my turn to continue those seeds. I often joke with friends who now have Swiss cheese plants from me. Don't be stingy. When it's bushy, stir it too. This is an unbroken circle of kindness, a circle that started with a sincere gift and now continues to revolve, creating happiness in every home it touches. I learned that happiness is contagious, giving is contagious, and the more we give, the more we will receive, not in material form, but in the priceless form of inner satisfaction. The journey from being protective to being a giver has changed many aspects of me. I became calmer, less worried about small things. The fear of material loss began to fade, replaced by the understanding that the most valuable things in life cannot be measured by money. My relationships with friends and neighbors also grew stronger. They saw the change in me, and often they were also inspired to share what they had. Some share vegetables from their small gardens, some share cooking knowledge, some share enriching stories and experiences. My terrace, which was once quiet, is now frequently visited by friends who want to see my Swiss cheese plant, discuss plans, or simply share stories. It's a small community formed from the seeds of the Swiss cheese plant. I often wonder, what if Tito had never given me that Swiss cheese plant? Perhaps I would still be stuck in a cycle of consumerism and a scarcity mentality. Perhaps I would still measure my self-worth by what I owned, not by what I gave. That Swiss cheese plant wasn't just a plant, it was my personal teacher. It taught me that life is about growth, about expansion, and about sharing. I also began to apply this principle in other areas of my life. Before, I tend to hoard my knowledge, afraid of competition. Now, I'm more open to sharing knowledge and experiences. Before, I often felt that time was a scarce commodity that had to be guarded tightly. Now, I am more willing to dedicate time to listen, help, or simply be there for others. It's no longer about what I can get, but about what I can give to make a small difference around me. The results? I feel richer, happier, and more meaningful. This is a wealth that cannot be stolen, cannot run out, and will only continue to grow the more I share. Every time I share a pot of Swiss cheese plant with someone, I feel like I'm planting a seed of kindness in their hearts, hoping that seed will thrive and also be shared with others. Before, I was stingy because I was afraid of losing. I whispered to myself one morning, observing a new shot emerging from one of my Swiss cheese plant pots. Now, I give because I know what grows with love will never diminish. In fact, it will continue multiply. This new understanding of riches challenges us to look beyond the tangible. The new rich are those who understand that generosity isn't a depletion of resources, but an expansion of joy. It's a continuous cycle. The more we give, the more we open ourselves to receiving, not necessarily in material form, but in the deeper, more lasting currency of human connection and inner contentment. What other treasures in your life might multiply in value if you were to share them? And with that conviction, I continue to water my Swiss cheese plants, prune them, and prepare new pots, ready to be shared again, ready to spread happiness, ready to continue being part of the new rich, those who find true wealth in generosity and sharing. This experience has profoundly shifted my perspective on what truly matters. I've shed the scarcity mindset that once made me fear loss and hoard what I had. Now I embrace an abundant mindset, understand that true richness lies in the capacity to give freely. It's a continuous, joyful cycle. The more I share, the more happiness multiplies, not just for others, but for me too. It's a quiet revolution, starting from a single Swiss cheese plant, and proving that the greatest treasures in life are found not in what we accumulate, but in what we are willing to let go of and share with the world. How has sharing, in any form, enriched your own life?